Let's go. Let's go. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody Thursday night. Appreciate everybody checking in if you are, wherever you're checking in from. So last week I went in on Wednesday because I had some things to do, but we back right now. It's Thursday. So we're going to get right into it. Real Bread Life, Real Bread Life on everything. You can catch us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok is Breadville. The website is Real Bread Life, just like it sounds, just like it's spelled, RealBreadLife, RBL, Real Bread Life. Build with somebody or struggle alone. So what I wanted to talk about this week was a thing that I see happening and going on with some of the people, and it's about the shrinkage. For those of you that don't know what shrinkage is, it's the product, how they calculate the damage or what's in the store, what doesn't sell, what gets stolen, what gets damaged, the product you bring in versus the product you bring out. Um, Again, I'll give a few minutes for some of the other bread people to jump in on a couple other platforms. If you got something you want to contribute or you want to share, just let me know. I sent the link to a few people. When they reach out, I'll get them in. So I could give the info about what shrinkage is and why I want to discuss it, how it's affecting me, how it's affecting other vendors. And again, if it's affecting you in some way and you wanted to share, give me a second. Let me just get this thing a little crooked up here. I feel like I'm leaning to the left or to the right. So again, the reason why I wanted to talk about the shrinkage is because I've been talking to a few different people. One or two people have been mentioning it, and me myself, I've dealt with it as well. And just a few months back, if you check my videos on the channel, on the YouTube channel, there was a video about bread being damaged during a reset in one of my stores. That would be an example of shrinkage in a way, but it's a bad example for the vendor. Terrible example. A lot of bread got damaged. And what was told to me when I first started doing bread was it's the cost of doing business. And for me, I think that cost of doing business is expensive. A lot of times people don't realize that the bread adds up. Remy, what's going on? If you look at a loaf of bread right now, it's expensive. I mean, a few years back, $2, two and some change, $3, and right now some bread is $7, six and some change. So somebody would say, "Oh man, one loaf of bread damage. What could that do? How much harm could that be?" It probably isn't a lot, but if you take into account that we bring out thousands of pieces of bread, it's a lot of product. So you get 20 to 30 damaged in a week over the course of 4 weeks. You're looking at a lot of money. Over the course of a year, you're looking at a lot more money. So it does add up. And when we start talking about the big box stores, you're talking about double packs of bread. Again, some of these breads are $6. Some of them are $7. And if you have, like I do in certain stores, you got 5, 6 to 7 racks of bread, and someone's coming in stealing one. Someone's squishing one, feeling it up, trying to see how fresh it is and leaving it. One of the people working in the store damage one. You got some people opening up product and eating, I know somebody's probably saying, who's eating bread in the store? Trust me, it happens. The same way someone comes in and drinks a juice, a soda, eats a banana, an apple, a cupcake, a candy bar, people open bread as well. Sounds crazy, but crazy is what crazy does. There's crazy people out there. So that's something that we go through. That's something that all vendors go through on some level whether you work independently or you work for a company, you go through it, whether it's chips, cookies, um, you know, snacks, cakes, whatever it may be. There's a level of shrinkage out there that we all deal with. So you're definitely squeezing the bread to check it. I don't know who you are, Facebook user. It's okay. Just don't squeeze it too hard. Ain't nothing wrong with checking the freshness of your bread. We all want fresh. That's why we rotate the bread. We don't want to give out nothing stale, so we rotate it. So I'm gonna get right into it. I just made a few notes real quick, so people could see and understand what I'm talking about with the shrinkage. So I'm just gonna share my screen a little bit real quick and put a couple things up here so you can see what I'm talking about. So the number one reason why there's shrinkage is theft. All right. So, the theft is going to affect the major overall thing is going to be theft. When people steal, they come in and just, that's always going to be the number one thing. It's going to be theft. People are going to steal. And that you're never going to get around people stealing. It's going to happen. It's been happening. People been stealing since people been people, So number two is waste and spillage. The example I have right here is off of a chart that was generated, and the example they were using was wine because of that was the delivery metric that they were given the example to. So it's the same as anything else. Wine, they'll say spillage. The bread will say it's gotten squished or it's outdated. Being outdated is the same everywhere. Expiration is expiration. We pull the bread days before the expiration date so that it can be resold, and that way we try to keep the rotation of freshness out there. So by the metrics that I was looking up and getting the information for, waste and spillage was the number two. Number three was damage. And again, that goes back to what I was talking about with the bread being squished, the bread being mishandled and just mistreated. And if, again, on my videos, if you go back, there's a video I put up, and it was a short one. It was a short one of my shorts, and it was floor bread. And I say that because, as I just mentioned, our company, we have a thrift store. The bread is brought back. They resell the bread. And I say resell, but they're basically still just selling the bread before the expiration date. You're able to buy the bread at a discounted price, even though the code is shortened and it's going to expire soon. We sell it. So I don't think putting bread on the floor is cool. A lot of vendors come in as they're rotating their bread or taking out their stale bread from the stores. They put it on the floor. I use a rack myself, and I just think that handling the bread one time is easier. As I'm taking it off the shelf, I'm putting it in the tray. I know other vendors that do the same, and I know vendors that put it on the floor. That's them. That's what they choose to do. I might do. So I will put that in the category of damage as well. The other one would be administrative and paperwork errors. When we go into our stores, we all have a system. Some of us have computers. Some companies are just coming out of still having handwritten documentation or invoices, I should say. So I know those are other ways that you can have errors in your bread or whatever other products you're delivering. So administrative and paperwork errors would be another one of those metrics that you will be used. Then we have fraud. Coming back to writing your own paperwork, putting your own numbers in your computer, your handheld, however, whatever you want to call it, vendor fraud. And that's just goes back to theft. If you want to go back to the original one, it's theft. Vendor fraud is the same as just saying stealing. I see they put it here at the number 6 reason, and I guess maybe they weren't from highest to lowest or worst to best or whatever the case is, but they have this at number 6. I just say it's the same as theft. It's just stealing. So vendor fraud is basically, just being untrue to what you're doing. If you're stealing, you're stealing. If you're stealing, you're a liar. If you're a liar, you're a thief, because a thief has to cover up with the lie. So they're one and the same. Either way, I'm good with both of those type of people. So there's no need to steal from yourself, because eventually it catches up. The numbers eventually will add up in some type of way. So they have a little metrics right here. It says what percentage of shrinkage is caused by theft, and the system they used, it said that the external theft or customer shoplifting were responsible for 37.5% of retail shrinkage, and 33.2% of the retail shrinkage was caused by employee or internal theft. Again, stealing. That means that theft accounted for roughly 98% of all retail sales and a total of almost $38 billion. It's a lot of money. Big dough. So also the report said that in 2018, the average inventory shrinkage rate was 1.38% across all retail sectors. So that includes us as well, because we do bread. It's just all sectors. I'm just throwing a general number, but we're included in that number as well if you do bread. Still pretty high, equally weighs even the highest inventory shrinkage rate, like those of at or above 3%, which accounts for almost 11% of retail business. That's us. We do retail business. You know what I mean? Or we support the retail business. And the way that is combated, or it's you work your shrinkage out, or you do better with your shrinkage, is to take inventory. Us as a company, the one that we deal with, we do it on once a week, Monday or Tuesday. I've learned from some other vendors recently that it's really actually contractually only needs to be done quarterly. Doesn't matter to me, because however you do it, however it works out best for you, I would suggest that's the way you do it. Whatever the requirements are for your company, stay within that framework. But if you could do it weekly and your numbers are good, fine. If you do it quarterly and your numbers are still fine, cool. Whatever works for you. I'm not saying which way is best, worse, or the way that it should be done. I'm just telling you there are different options within all different companies and platforms to be used. So inventory is key. What is meant by the shrinkage? Again, I gave a little breakdown, but here's the definition as it was in my research. Inventory shrinkage refers to the loss of products or goods between the point of manufacture or purchase and the point of sale. Meaning, once we get it from the supplier, load it into the truck, and bring it to the store. That's what that whole sentence in that paragraph means. It's often expressed as a percentage and represents the difference between the recorded inventory and the actual inventory in a retail or warehouse setting. And you guys get that. If you do what we do, you get it. So that's where we at with that. So I'll leave it at that for now. Come back in a minute. Oh. Let me know if you can still hear me, if I'm still on. Anybody in there, just put a 1 in the chat or something, or a comment. So just wanted to give that little bit of info, share my shrinkage information as it pertains to some people I know. Nice one. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So with that being said, there's a question being raised as far as when you work for someone delivering, and there's a shrinkage number that tends to get high. Is it the responsibility of the person that does the ordering, the person that's doing the delivering, or is it the responsibility of both? And how should the shrinkage number be accounted for, and who should have to pay? Again, I was told it's the cost of doing business, but on whose end and out of whose pocket is it the cost of doing business? That's my question, So anybody wants to get in the um on the screen, just let me know, and I'll put the link up for you guys. So in the chat box, the comment box, I put the link. You can copy that if you have it on your phone. If you want to put it onto your browser, it'll send it and let you jump in. So if not, it's all good. It's fine. I understand. I just wanted to get some feedback as to who and how think who's accountable for the stale. See, so for me, I think that the person, the two different people, the the two parties that are involved, if it's someone that owns the route and someone's working for them, or if it's, I guess with the company routes, they calculate that number, or they add that number in that the shrinkage might be. I keep saying stale because to me it's the same thing. Sometimes it's not, because the shrinkage is missing product. That's let me be clear. I'm sorry. I keep saying stale, and I don't want it to be misconstrued or misunderstood. Shrinkage is product that's unaccounted for, that may be stolen or damaged and is not registering, going through the register. When we bring product in, okay, again, I have to apologize because I have to be clear. What happens in a lot of stores is we have scam based stores, so we don't get checked in, so we just bring it in, and it's accounted for in our computer system, and in the store's computer system, what we bring in and what goes through the register. If the product, if I bring in, I'll just go a small number, I bring in 10 loaves of bread, and at some point through their registers they only show they sold 6 loaves of bread. That's called shrink. Those 4 missing pieces are shrink. They're not in the store. No one's accounted for them. I didn't bring them out as stale bread and put them back in my handheld and say they were old, bad, or whatever the case is. They're just missing. So that's called shrink. Your product number has shrunk, and I still get charged. So what I'm asking is, how do we fix that? And what is an acceptable number that may be for to be accountable for? What are the allowances on a shrink, on your shrink numbers, as far as, I guess, for the company we deal with, if it's Beanbo, if it's Khaleesi, if it's Pepperidge, if it's Martin's, what is that shrink number? Somebody put it in the comment after this video was watched. Let me know. Well, I'm curious, because I'm sure across the board they're all different, and I know everyone that delivers bread deals with this on some level, or has at some point in their delivery journey. So there's no way around it. It happens to everyone. I know for myself, coming up on roll season in the next few months and throughout the summer, it happens a lot with the bread being moved around. We have displays. Bread's picked up, put in different places in the aisles. A lot of times the people working in the stores don't know where to bring the bread back to. Some of them are good. Some of them just don't know. Some just don't care. They'll throw the bread in the carriage, and as they walk around the store picking up other things, cover it up with a book, a pair of shoes, a radio, uh, a, a, a case of soda. Doesn't matter. To them, it's just stuff going in the carriage that has to be moved out of the aisle and to the back of the store. And that's how that goes. So that's my shrink. That's my shrink issue right now. So I got a couple more pieces real quick that I wanted to share just on this same level. So give me 1 second. I'll get them up to you. So the 3 key measures of inventory include inventory turnover, days of inventory on hand, and the gross margin return on inventory investment, the GMROII. And it's pretty much what I just explained a second ago, which is, what goes through the register, what's in the store, and what's not coming through the register, and what's still in the store. So that's basically the 3 measures that they use right there. I talked about the human error. And again, the example I got was they were using a wine distribution or wine delivery. So it's basically the same metric that I was talking about in the human error. Everything I just explained with being in the store and having the bread just being mishandled and damaged and just lost. It's just a loss. Taking an L is taking an L. That's all it is. We try to take as little bit of L's as we can, if that makes any sense. You understand what I'm talking about. We want to take the least amount of L's. So with that being said, that's what I got. I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate people checking in. Thank you so much for showing some love on the playback. Hopefully I got in a better spot. I could tell because my Wi-Fi has not jumped one time. Trust and believe over time, I'll get better. We'll get better. Real Bread Life on everything. Real Bread Life. I'll give it to you right here where you could connect with us. realbreadlife.com. Email us. Let us know. Got any questions? We'll get back to you. If you want to be interviewed, shoot me a message. You can get at me at Our Bread Life. And anything RBL, you can find us. Visit us at realbreadlife.myshopify.com. realbreadlife.myshopify.com. That's all I got for now. Stay blessed and keep stacking. Real Bread Life on everything. Remember, build with somebody or you will struggle alone. Build with somebody or you will struggle alone.